anytime you guys want to access the link, we have it in our managed folders through the website, through the district. I also provided in the link. You can always click it here and go in and you know, get to the site. So I'll have that open as well. A few reminders before we begin is how we create POs within the system. This current year, we had to separate everything by just your building budgets. Grants were separate, activity, convenience were separate, foundation were separate. So this year, the biggest thing, or this coming year, we will be able to combine grants and building. So you don't have to separate them. As long as you code them appropriately, it will be fine. That again applies for Amazon. If you have, you know, some stuff that you want to put through title, but then you also want to order office supplies or instructional, it can all be in one request. So that that is something new. I know a lot of secretaries we're looking forward to this because it just makes it easier. It'll reduce the number of orders, and it'll be all in one PO. Everything else is pretty much the same. In regards to new vendors in the system, sometimes you see that you're looking for a vendor and you don't see it. You can always reach out to me. Sometimes it might have, like, for example, a hand to mine. In the system, it's ETA, hand to mine. So sometimes when secretaries go ahead and type in hand to mine, they don't find it, then I let them know, hey, go ahead, this is how you look it up. Other times, the vendor is not in there. So what I would need is a W-9 and the information provided here. So let me show you an example of, for example, right here, W-9. The W-9 is sent to me. I have that. They gave me their phone, fax, and the email address for purchase orders. I do need the email address because this year we've went off site. Are you guys able to see my email?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, let me see. Can you see it now?
No.
I do know share screen, but I guess it's forcing me to do tabs. Okay. All right. So I'll just have to pay attention. If at any point, if you don't see the screen when I switch over, please let me know. I don't know why lately with Zoom, I have to go in there and either pick screen or switch it over to tab. So I do apologize for that. With the W-9, so here is an example that was sent over today. They need this vendor added, so I will go ahead and add that. This is all I need, and in regards, again, to the email address, it's very important, so I can go ahead and send that via email to the vendors. Because, you know, this last year was pretty different for us. We were at home or at the building. We don't have access, or I didn't have access to the fax machine. So we are trying to move everything to electronic. So the email is very important to get in order to have that all in the system. Let me go back to manual. Are you guys able to see the manual now? No? All right, here we go. In regards to shipping, it stays the same. We try to include the 10%. Sometimes the quotes tell us, hey, it's, you know, XYZ for freight or free shipping. You still want to, if you ever have a question like, hey, I'm not sure, with other vendors, play it safe and do the 10%. Again, unless it tells you what it is, always play it safe. The reason why is because when the PO is processed and sent to the vendor, there is no, some vendors can accept an email from me saying, go ahead and proceed with the purchase orders. Others don't. They want an updated purchase order. So in order to do that, we would have to cancel at the original PO that was created, and then we would have to start all over. So we want to avoid that as much as possible, just because we're trying to get everything ordered to you and sent as, to the students in a timely manner. But again, if you always have, you know, doubt, feel free to reach out to me. Everything else, again, is the same. What I noticed with attachments on PDF requests, or I'm sorry, a purchase order request, they're not being sent via PDF. Some are okay, like Excel formats, it's fine. But I've noticed that others are submitting like a link, so like a web link, and that causes issues. So when the PO was sent, what's sent to the vendor, it's kind of like a hyperlink view of the website you're at. So please make sure, you know, to do it in PDF. If you have to do Excel, okay. I understand that sometimes it's easier that way for, you know, depending the purposes of the order. If it's Microsoft Word, again, all those can be converted to PDF. So instead of, you know, you can save as a PDF or print to Adobe. That's another way. But that is important in order to not cause any errors through that end. Here is just on the next page, just again, brief, just information on what grant numbers look like in regards to purchase order confirmations. This is huge. The reason why I say it's huge is because when I get PO confirmations, and it's gotten a lot better, but at the beginning of the you know, transition when we were using the system, I would get a lot of purchase orders and they weren't subject correctly. Not necessarily correctly, but not descriptive enough. I would just get, for example, right here, PO confirmations. Let me see if I can show you some emails. But the easiest way is to just reference the PO number. So let me show you here. I always save all the PO confirmations, and even in my inbox now, if I go ahead and type in this PO number 926616, it'll show me everything for this purchase order. From the time that I sent it to any confirmation from the company, which is right here. And now we have our secretary, Alice. She sent me the confirmation for it. It's important to have it this way. Again, it's always a reference. We can go back and check. You can attach the packing slips and everything, but let me go to, where is it at? Here we go. This is one of the biggest one, the Xerox scan. I know sometimes it's quick to just scan it and email it over to me, but again, when I don't have the PO number reference within the scan, it's very hard. Let me like explain it. Like if I would approve all of your large Amazon's orders without putting a PO number, it's like getting all these packages and not knowing where it's associated to. So if I ever need to go back and reference something in that email, it's very hard to find. So again, we've gotten better, but I did want to put that in the manual as a reference. Most of us know how to put in a purchase order, but I will go through the process briefly, just again to go over. I know we have new people in the training right now, so I did want to go over that. And what I'll do is I'll actually use one of the secretary views. We're going to use Culbertson right now. When you log in, your secretary has the credentials. For the departments, again, it is shared, so please, if there are any changes, make sure that information is shared with everybody. I think that's the one. This is the top view. So I like this view because it's easier with the folders. I'm going to log out and show you the left view. And you can choose your views through right there before the bottom. The left view, I know other people use it too, but again, it's just a personal preference. Oh, I typed the password wrong. So the left view, your menu options are on the side, on the left. So that's all that is. Again, I personally like the other one, so we're gonna go through this training through the top view. But all the functions and everything is the same. You have access to everything. And then I hope you guys have the manual on the side. I don't want to put split the screen, but we are on this page 4. When you want to go in and enter a purchase order, you go to the purchasing folder and request purchase order, purchase entry and changes. You click it. Now, let's say you've already processed something and you got to go back in and change it. This is a frequent question. How do I go back and change it? It's the same way. You go in through purchasing and you go to request purchase entry and changes. What we'll do real quick is Amazon. It looks like Culbertson already started one, but it's not completed. I'm just going to go ahead and do a new request. And then pick your building. Everything here is auto-filled. You don't need to change it. We usually keep it the principal's name. If you are a department under student services curriculum, I'll show you, but it's really just the staff member right here. I have a lot of people trying to change the ship via. Please don't change that. It's just under staff member name where you would put your secretary's name or whoever the teacher is that the order is going to. Before I continue with this, I do want to show you something else. If you typed in Amazon wrong, let's just do like that. Vendor not found. So before, like, you know, reaching out again, like, make sure you always go back and reference that. Let's do Lakeshore. Find vendor. Here is an option for a quick pick list. If you don't have this checked, that side option is not going to give it to you. Let me give you an example of Pearson because we have 3 of those. Pearson will show right here, Ames Web, but it's very hard to tell that you have 3 options for here. Again, this is all optional. It's per user, however you want to, you know, use it. But I always recommend the display because you see this right away. You don't know how many Pearsons are in there unless you know you have the entire list on the side. Or if you are going in here and checking what is available. Now notice that right now the yellow one is Ames Web. Well, I want education. So please make sure you are changing it to the correct one. And you'll notice it because it will be yellow. And when you go into the new request, oh, and it's right here too. And when you go into the new request, your vendor again is here. Notice that once you clicked it, there is no option to change it. So if you do end up clicking the wrong vendor, you do have to delete the request and go back in here and type in the correct one and choose it. With that being said, once a purchase order is processed, you cannot change the vendor name. If it is wrong, we would have to delete that request and start all over. We try to catch it sometimes, especially like if there's a quote, we're able to see, hey, this wasn't the right vendor. But if you're just picking a vendor, there is no quote attached, it's very difficult for us to know what items belong to what vendor because it's very generic across the board. We are purchasing educational products, so all our vendors offer that. So again, the only time we would know is once that email is sent out to the vendor and then the vendor says, hey, these aren't our items, And then, you know, it's always a hassle, especially if it's a huge order. You want to make sure, again, you're clicking the right one. But we'll go back to Amazon. We'll go do a new request. You pick your building and you go ahead and just type away. With Amazon, what I really recommend is you complete your cart first. You have to complete your cart, because if you are typing in, you know, your request, anything that you do, the notification gets sent immediately to your administrator. If you save and exit, save and continue, whatever you do, this, you know, Mr. Tucker already has a notification, hey, another request is in here. And then in Amazon, if you wait until that you submit everything and then, oh, hey, let me go back and submit my Amazon cart, your prices could change. So again, always submit that first, and I'll show you where's a good point in Amazon where you can print your order summary. You go ahead and type in your quantities, whatever it is, and you have to type in your account number. Notice here, different types of account numbers, and they're not full, they're not complete. So if I just type in, it's incomplete. So let's do 110,030. Here we go, instructional. And I think that one is wrong, but let me test it out. Okay, no, that one's right. So 4111. If I would have typed it differently, it would dash out or zero out. If these account numbers aren't in place as you see them here, your administrator will not have the checkbox to approve your order. So you may have pushed everything through, everything may match your cart, but if they don't have a checkbox, then they can't proceed. The building would be still, the request would be sitting at your building, and we won't know until, you know, you ask, hey, what happened to this order? Or unless your administrator tells you, hey, I can't approve this. So you always want to make sure it's complete. There is another way that I showed you guys last year is, for example, instruction. If you type in the word, your account numbers will show in the drop down. The reason why I don't recommend this one is because if you click the wrong account number, for example, this is your building instruction, this is title instruction, and I believe this is out of the 3000 series, which is family engagement. So Elizabeth can correct me if I'm wrong, but again, with just a wrong click, you can code something differently, and that can, you know, delay your request. Notice that every time I'm doing a change, lines add up. If you're done with your request with this first line item, you always want to go back and delete that. Those lines are going to auto-generate, and it'll look funky on the PO. It'll look as if you're you have more items, but in reality, you're not. You don't have any. So you want to make sure that the your PO is as clean as possible, so that it prints that way in the on the PDF. Now, a lot of questions that I have to is I attach something and it's not on there. Like I did it, but it's not on there. What you do is you go to attach a document, you choose a file, and I'm just gonna pick anyone right here. You're gonna open, you just put quote. You have to click add. If you click add, your quote will be on here. You'll have the manila folder with the timestamp. If you did not do that, then if you just choose file and then that's it, it's not gonna show on there. So you're not, it's not going to be on there when it comes all the way through. So always make sure manila folder, timestamp, and then you're good. You can always view it to see what you attached on there. If you attach the wrong one, click it, delete, and then it's gone. So you can always, again, go back and edit. Once you go through it, sometimes you may have a long request, sometimes it's short. If Amazon offers free shipping, again, add a line, free shipping, and it has to have the account number on there. Because if not, again, the administrator would not be able to approve it. Now, let's say, here, let me put a cost here. let's say you get a discount. In order to apply the discount, you still have to let the totals match up. So let's say the discount will always, the quantity be 1 because we want to apply the discount one time. Let's just say it's $2.50 discount, save and continue. Now it auto-calculated. You have to make sure you put that negative because if not, then it'll just add that up. Special order instructions, this prints on your PO. Anything that you want to type on here, a message to, you know, even for yourself, like, hey, this purchase order is for this department. I know Fine Arts Department has been using this a lot. They ship orders to another building. And when I send this over to them, at the bottom of the PO, right by the signature sign, it shows, hey, this is for the art teacher or the music teacher. Internal notes is exactly what it means. You want to let us know something? Hey, I coded the paper plates to instructional supplies because they're working on a science project. So that way we don't think, oh, it's office supplies. So anything that you think you want to, we should know, you can always put it in internal notes. You save and exit, and your request is right there. Your principal would then go ahead and approve it, and then it goes on to the next approver. Let me see where we're at in the manual. Okay, we're on page 10 of the manual, which is, where's the manual? I have too many tabs, guys, I'm sorry. We're right here. Again, it has to be complete before you save and exit because it will go on to the next person. Unless you tell your principal, hey, don't go ahead and don't approve it because I'm not done with it. There has to be that communication. Let's say I'm not done with it and Mr. Tucker went ahead and approved it. I go ahead and process the order. And then you look at it and you're like, hey, this item wasn't on there. I needed to go back and do it. Well, now you have to do a new PO for those remaining items. If you, for whatever reason, you go back in here, like let's say you exit out, you're like, hey, I didn't finish it. You want to go back in here. You can still view and edit if it does not have a PO number. If it does not have a PO number, it can be modified 100 times. It does not matter. But you have to know that your principal will have to go back in and reapprove it. Sometimes the first time the PO is right, but then the next time you're going in there, you take off that. You add a line and you save and exit and you think you're fine, but because this, oh, it didn't save, I didn't have it. Let me do. If you add a line and it doesn't have the account number, the principal won't be able to approve it. So now on Mr. Tucker's end, and let me see if I can pull that view. It won't have the request to approve. Admin. Nope, I can't access it right now. But again, it's very important that you review your entire order before you submit. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. Let's see. Okay, one thing that I do want to point out, and this was a perfect example right before we started, there was an order right here that's 00. The date shows that it's today, which is fine. If I go in there, you know, someone started the request, I'm not going to, you know, do anything about it because maybe they're going to go back in there. But let's say, let's go back to mine. I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Whenever there's any zeros like that, especially on my end, like let me show you my view. I I tend to leave them there until I know the secretaries are done with it. For example, if that would have said like January, I know that they're not working on that. That must have just been, oh, I'm sorry, I'm clicking everything. It just must have been missed, but it still has to be cleaned up. It has to be deleted. Let me show you how it looks on my end. So I have 1, 2, I have somebody else that submitted something. It all has to be cleaned up. Oh, look, here's another one. These right here. Someone submitted an Amazon request, and I'll show you how to find that later on in this meeting. But these are old requests. We know Amazon carts expire in 7 days, so that was before during spring break. That should be deleted. It's old unless you're still working on it. But again, we'll go through that cleaning up process. In regards to report availabilities, I'm going to go over through your open purchase order summary by PO number and PO requisition edit list detail. So what this is the open POs that you have, and this one is any request that is out there that has not been approved yet. That's where we'll find the requests that have been entered in, but nothing has been done, those zeros or those that have not been approved. We'll go with the open PO summary. We'll go back to Culbertson. What you do is you want to go to purchasing, and your purchase order production button is right here in the center. You want to go ahead and click that. Oh, time me out. That's another thing with this. It will continue to time you out if you don't do much there. Now, that's one of the things with the PO request. If you start it and then you get interrupted for whatever reason, it's still going to save your request there. So we'll do the purchase order production. This center section will give you the different reports you can run. You won't hurt the system if you click any of this. But the reason why I'm gonna go over the PO summary by PO number, it's because it's the cleanest and easiest way to look at the PO number. If you do it by account number, let's think about those POs where we use office supplies, instructional, and now that we have access to do it with title, that PO number is going to show up 3 times on your report. So by account number sometimes is not the best. So again, I just wanted to show you guys by PO number. If I do view PDF up here at the top, as long as you don't have your pop-ups blocked on your computer, the report will show. So right now they have, as what it looks like, 1 PO. That's amazing. That's great. So now let me show you another login, another user. It all depends and varies by building. The one thing that when you guys start running this report, you should not see anything from last year. We have already cleaned that up. We've tried to. If there is one out there, please let me know. But I think I've gone over everybody's open POs before Christmas break. I personally like to reach out to you guys before Christmas break so we can try to clean up everything before, the new year. I mean, I just want to take care of all the old stuff. We should be good. Sometimes orders are, they're on back order. That's understandable, but there should not be a handful of POs still open come December stuff that you ordered in the fall. So we'll go through them. Let me show you how it looks like with more orders out there. View PDF. And it is by PO number. So it is going through numerically. And it has all the descriptions that were typed in there. Now, this one right here, curriculum placed in order for what looks like the junior highs, Dirksen, Gompers, Hufford, and Washington. Notice that the date is 11/18. It is Follett. Follett is big for sending books and stuff all late. So we are still looking into that, but everything else is from the new fiscal year. So you go ahead and review your report. You can run this as often as you'd like. If you can run it on a monthly, bi-monthly basis, that's perfect. But I will be reaching out to you guys again before Christmas break. And I think I want to say towards the end of this month, I'm going to reach out to you guys again, because we are trying to make sure that all this is closed out before the next fiscal year. If for whatever reason you run your report and it turns out to be blank, like there's nothing on there, that means you have no open POs. So that means you guys are up to date, everything's been paid, or simply you guys just haven't ordered anything. So don't be afraid if it just shows like blank pages, or a blank page, I'm sorry. That's that report. Let me go back to the manual. So, oh, the other thing with that, the open encumbrance, let me go back to curriculums. Right here, curriculum. The one thing I did want you guys to note in the encumbrance, and I'm going to zoom in. For this purchase order, please pay attention to what's open. The original amount of the PO for this one is $1,602. What remains open is $638, which means I've paid stuff on this order, but there's still some items that have not been, you know, they most likely with this one, they're on back order. I've received several notifications with some items from school specialty, they're on back order. So that is why it hasn't been shipped. If you ever see something as low as, let's go to this. Are you guys still able to see the report? Okay, I'm gonna assume yes.
Yes.
Thanks. Notice that this is 20 cents. 20 cents, we can assume that purchase order should be closed. If I pay an invoice and let's say it wasn't the full amount, this could be a human error, because we're all humans, we make mistakes. I should have closed that purchase order out with the remaining 20 cents. So if it ever shows up like this, please let me know. Hey, Miriam, I still see this on there. By any chance, can you just, you know, take a look at it? I believe it should be closed. Yes, definitely. I will go ahead, pull the original purchase order and invoice and look and say, oh, yes, it was, you know, it should have been closed. So again, we're all human, even though this is technology, even technology messes up things too. So please, anything that you see, bring it to my attention. And then we can, you know, sort it out, go from there. Any questions with the open PO summary? And I asked that because this is new, so hopefully I didn't go too fast on this. Do you guys have any questions on how to run this report? No? Okay. To run the open purchase orders, I'm sorry, the open PO request, it's the same steps. Okay, the only thing different is we're going to be running a different report, and it's all on there. It'll be the PO requisition edit list. So let me go, still under curriculum, view PDF. Now this is by date. This is not by vendor. This is not by account number. This is in order by date. So I'm seeing right here that there's a request out here that was from 3/26. That was some time ago. So there's, again, if you have any questions, hey, what's out there? This is where you would go in here and run it. Okay, I will show you how to check the approval history status, okay? But these are all the reports that are out there. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you from my login, because I want to show you, a second. I want to show you those open requests out there that should be deleted, but PDF. Okay, so again, by date, 3/9. And I'm not throwing you guys out there. This is just for, informational purposes. You guys will have access to go in and review this. When it comes to our departments like student services, curriculum, people who have multiple users for one account, when you first run this report, please do this as a team. Only because once you guys look at it together, you're going to see, oh, yes, I did that, or I still need that, or I don't. So I don't want you guys going in there and deleting stuff if another secretary was working on something. But for those that are just, one users at the buildings, always go back and check this. This was from 3/9. So it should have been processed. For whatever the reason it has not been. That is up to you guys as a building with your administrator. But the important thing is, if it's not going to proceed, you have to go back in there and delete it, because now you're taking $627 out of your title money. It is being taken, it is encumbered. So if you no longer want this, you have to delete it. If it was denied for whatever reason and you are not going to modify it, no changes are going to be done, you have to delete it. Because again, it's taking up money. So now you guys notice this year that a lot of the stuff says over budget, over budget. If you are, running this report, it'll show you what's out there and you can clean it up. Now, right here, another thing I want to notice, this report, this particular request does not have an account number. Here's another way you can know why hasn't it been approved. The principal will not have a check mark because the account number was not typed in correctly. So that was holding off that purchase order. Now, right here, we have another request for Amazon, 140. No account numbers on this one. It looks kind of funky from the next page, but again, no account number. The principal won't be able to approve it. Demco, I'm not sure who processed this. Again, when you log in there, you'll see it's back from 3/24. This needs to be deleted, all of this. And you'll be able to see once you guys start running these reports. Again, you can run it as often as you want. It should be more up to date. You'll start seeing, hey, just yesterday I placed in an order. Like, for example, here, these orders have been placed in today. So it should be always up to date. It's live. So I'm gonna go and into Demco, and I'm going to delete that because I'm gonna assume it's nothing's in there before I delete it. If you guys don't want me to, whoever this is, please tell me. But again, you're not really losing anything because there wasn't anything there to begin with. So what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna go to purchasing, requests for purchase entry and changes. I'm gonna type in the vendor name, and it's right here. I'm gonna view and edit, and I'm going to delete. And it's gonna say, yes, you wanna delete? So again, it is live. If I go back in there to purchase order production, and I run, oops, click the wrong one, run the PDF, here's an updated one, it's no longer there. So now we're back to only Russo, Amazon, and that's it. Demco is gone. So it is live. As I approve them, these orders will remove from this report and move over to the open PO report. Do you guys have any questions on the requisition report? No? Okay. So yes, again, just here talking about deleting them. For purchase order approval history, what's the status of it? I want to know. So let's say the administrator already approved it. Let me go back to who has open POs. Give me a second. I might have to do it from my login, but it might take a little bit longer. Give me a second. You want to go through look and browse. You got to go to finance, look and browse. So by doing this, you already know, like, hey, I know I put in a Dell order. I want to know what's the status of it. So you want to go by vendors because we don't have a PO number yet. You can't look it up by PO. You don't, this doesn't allow you to look it up by requisition number. So what do we know? We know the vendor name. And I thought I saw one in the open request. So right here, I'm gonna go to Dell Marketing, because that's the one that I chose. I'm gonna go to purchase order. Now this is very easily missed. You want to click show approval history. So when I ask you guys, hey, send me a screenshot of the approval history, it's this section right here. So the secretary entered it in, it has been approved, and now right now at this point it's sitting for me to approve. For whatever, I think it's because I'm the last one to approve. I don't know why, but it always leaves me at the top. Sometimes it has other people that need to approve. Everyone has to approve it before it comes to me. You just got to think about it as I, the secretary, submitted this, my principal has to approve it, and then it moves on to, you know, whether that's Elizabeth, Angela, or Anke for approval, and then it comes to me. And you see in the in any of the previous orders, you see all the changes that have been made and what time it's been approved. So then it comes to me and I go ahead and review it and process it. Let me see if I missed anything. Nope, that's pretty much it with this one. Now, any questions with this? Again, at the beginning, I said I've tested this out with many people. We've gone through this, or I've emailed the steps. So a lot of you guys should know. And if not, you know, here you can again reach out to me whenever. We can do Zoom meetings. But if not, here's the manual with it. Now we've entered in a PO. We've checked the approval history. Now we receive the merchandise. A lot of secretaries are still not doing this part of checking in the items in SDS. In addition to signing your PO confirmation, you have to go ahead into the system and mark it full. What I'm going to go back to is, I'm going to go to Culbertson, only because I know they just have the one order. Oh, typed it wrong. Again, I like top menu. It's all of preference. Usually when you log in, it'll show you the look and browse first. What you want to do is click purchasing. You already received the merchandise. You want to record received merchandise. And here, either you type in the vendor name or the PO number. I think it was book source. Find vendor. So here it goes. So I'm going to view and edit. And it brings you to the screen. So if you receive the merchandise in full, you just click, you know, PO received in full. With Amazon, it's very, you know, difficult to have everything all at once. Sometimes it's, you know, partial items. So you would have the items listed here. You'd receive, so quantity, okay, maybe just one. The code would be P for partial. When did you receive it and received by who? Okay, if this one was received in full, okay, here we go. Go ahead, or I'm sorry. This one is F for full because again, you received two out of, you know, the two items, the date and there. If you received it again, once you get the last item, shipping really wouldn't count, but once you receive this last item, you can just change it to PO received in full and it'll change everything. And then it'll give you the name, and then you just save and return. I'm not gonna do that just because they haven't received the items. But please do that because when I go into the system and pay, it'll tell me, hey, they did receive it in full. We still are, again, working through the PO confirmations, so email them to me as soon as you get them. So So here, just for the JFK or BSS, for the multiple ship to locations, ladies that work at JFK or BSS, I know sometimes we have a lot of orders for, you know, multiple buildings, and it's a lot to type out, but I did get feedback from the buildings, and it is important that you guys also type in the items that you are shipping out to them, because for XYZ reasons, if they don't get the quote or if they don't have that at hand, and they only look at the PO, they need to be able to see what it is that they have to check in or receiving. So please itemize everything that you are ordering for the buildings. Any questions so far? I know it's been a lot, but any questions so far? We're almost done. Okay. New fiscal year requests. Before you guys leave for summer break, a lot of you submit your request for next fiscal year. There is a different step you have to do. It is one click. But again, it is important that you do click this, because if not, then we cannot change the fiscal year. Once the order is received, you have to delete it and type it in again. Let me go through. So everything's the same. Purchasing, request for purchase and entry and changes. You just go to Amazon. The feature is right here, next fiscal year. Again, it's only one button, but it is easily missed. Before you click new request, make sure you do click next fiscal year. You can go to new request. It'll say it right below the order form. So you pick your building, and its request is for next fiscal year. POs for next fiscal year will not be approved until July 1st. Now, with that being said, do not process Amazon orders. We all know that these expire within 7 days. So you should not be completing an order in late May, whenever, you know, we're told that we can start putting in a request for next year, because it will expire before you even leave the building. So again, Amazon orders should wait until you return in the fall. Something else that I want to add on to this, with Amazon expiring within 7 days, please keep in mind, as some may have experienced already, if you order something the day before you go on spring break, I will still continue to process the orders. Amazon will still continue to deliver. If no one is at the building, even if you say the engineer is there, sometimes the engineer cannot hear the door, they're not aware, those items will be returned, as Amazon will attempt, I believe, 3 times, any vendor, and actually attempts 3 times. And if not, then the order is shipped back, which means then we got invoices, now we got credits, now we have to, you know, get that taken care of, and then you have to submit a new order anyway. So please keep in mind during these holidays, or when no one's going to be at the building, you know, try not to order during those times. And again, I mainly see it during Christmas time, sometimes spring break, but other than that, it's not a big issue. So just making sure, again, keeping track of your orders, and you can see that through your reports. And just something that I want to talk about briefly when it comes to when I process the PO. Whenever I get the email sent to the vendor, I always forward that to you guys. Let me show you. Okay, hopefully you guys see my email address. So I sent the PO to the vendor, then I forwarded to the secretary or coordinator, whoever the principal is. Once I you know, get the invoice, I send out an email saying, hey, it's been received, and you know, now I'm waiting on the confirmation. If I have the electronic copy of it, I will forward that to you as well, just again, so that we are all aware of what we're getting charged for. Sometimes it's partial invoices, so hey, I received partial items, that's what I'm getting billed for. And then, you know, all items received, updated in SDS, and then I have the confirmation. Just won't load right now, but notice that all this is in one email thread. This is great. It's amazing. If you choose to send it separately, sometimes I get the confirmation sent in the invoice files. Let me see with Amazon. And again, it's perfectly fine. If you want to keep it in a thread, I would recommend the original thread, because again, all the history is there versus trying to look through multiple orders. If you want to send it separately, that's fine too. The important thing is that you reference that purchase order number. Don't in the manual, you'll see that if you add hashtags or if you put PO00 all together, it is very hard for Google to try to pick out numbers here and there with hashtags. I would have to type it in exactly how you typed it in order for me to ever find it. So if I ever send you an email, hey, can you send me a PO confirmation? Oh, well, I already did. I believe you. It's just hard to find it in the email. So again, just to keep it clean, just keep that number 92, whatever it is, just by itself. That would be very helpful. Sometimes you guys send it to me and I pay it for whatever reason down the line. If there's any credits or something, instead of me, calling you guys or asking for you to send it again, all I have to do is reference that email and I can just print it out. Again, with that said, and a lot of you guys have done this already, we've transitioned to email confirmations. I'd really, really appreciate it if everyone can email me the PO confirmations. We still have some buildings here and there that are sending it through Interschool. It's fine, it's okay. But again, via email, it's accessible anywhere at any time. And again, it's something that we can all go back and look at. Let's see. I think I talked about this within the process of going through everything. Vendors cannot be changed. At any point you make changes, it has to be reapproved. Don't forget shipping. Any questions regarding anything on the PO side? No? Okay. Finally, look and browse. Look and browse is what I say, you're just window shopping. You can't hurt the system. You go in there to look at information. So finance, look and browse. And you see on the notes, what I ask is that you always uncheck the only open POs, because if you don't do that, then it won't show you what's out there, like what's been paid and stuff. The account numbers, I always say, if you need help, if you ever need to know how to type in an account number correctly, you have access to all your account numbers here. Sometimes we miss a 0 before the 4, and that messes it up. I know that when I paste stuff or type stuff in, if I don't type it in correctly, it just bounces back like it does to you guys with dashes, or it zeroes out. So if you just are having a difficult time typing in it, go ahead here, copy and paste. That's what I do. I recommend you guys having this printed out to the side. If you are having awesome eyesight, which I don't, and you're able to read that and just type it in as you see it, cool, that works too. And then let me see, you have access to your account numbers, budget, vendor, anything. We've discussed this in the purchase ordering side. You see the approval history. You can always access the PDF copies. If I get emails like, hey, can you send me a copy of this? I always am happy to forward everything, but you have access to it in here. The only time you will not have access to it is if another department is ordering for you. Okay, so in that case, yes, definitely, I'll send you the PO confirmation and the PO copy. That is the only time you will not be able to see it, is if another department purchased something for your building. The payment history as well, copies of checks if it's pending to be paid. I have something in the drive. if it's pending to be paid, I'm going through this now in the video, look and browse. It'll show on the check stubs as a check number as 0. So let's see who I chose. This was later. I think I did this video shortly before I cut checks so that you guys could see an example. When you do it, it's in like random order for me because I have all the buildings. But take a look at right here. If you look up an invoice number or a PO number, it'll be highlighted in yellow if you know the specific one. But the point is here, it shows 0 because it's been entered in, but checks have not been cut yet. So then you look over to the right on the expense on date, it says 4/14. That's our board meeting, which is tomorrow. So if you go in there now and check, all checks have been cut for April. So it'll auto generate. For whatever reason, if you do not see something, like let's say, hey, I submitted this, or I think I submitted this, but I'm not sure. And you go in there and you do not see it. It has not been entered in. So I don't have it. I try to do everything that I can as soon as I get it. But towards the end, if I am bombarded with a lot of last minute things, it's very hard for me to try to do this on a daily, hourly basis. So if it's getting close to the next board meeting, or if it's something that truly needs to be entered in, always, again, reach out to me and say, hey, Miriam, by any chance, has this gotten to you? I'll look through my paper copies that I have on my desk and say yes or no, I haven't. And then, again, we can go from there. And I think that's it here. Let me see what else I showed you guys in the video. Oh, the other thing, if you hover over the check number, it shows if it's cleared or if it's not cleared. I think in that video, it showed that the March one had not been cleared. If you click it, the PDF pops up. Anything that has an underline, so check number, the PO number, it has a PDF. Check is the check. PO is the PO. If you look at the requisition number, notice that some don't have underlines and some do. That means a quote was attached. Whatever attachments that you did when you were doing your PO request, if you click on there, that's where you can see it, versus trying to exit out, go to purchasing and seeing what's in there. It's all in here. Let me exit this out. That. So again, yes, tips. Oh, the fiscal years. Right now, it's not big of an issue because we're ending it. But like, let's say you come in the fall, you want to make sure you're changing the start of the fiscal year to through whatever, because if not, then you won't be able to see what's been paid. Sometimes it was paid out of the old fiscal year, or sometimes you just want to look at old purchase orders. Anything that you want to look up, it's again, it's all through here. Just make sure your range is set appropriately. For accounts payable, anything, like you want to say what all has been paid to Dell. If you don't want to go through each individual one, you can just click PDF and the report comes up, everything paid through, and it gives you the range. So since I changed the date range, now it's from July 2019 fiscal year through now. But again, it's all there. Let me see. I think that's pretty much it, ladies. I can't think of anything. Oh, yes, one important thing. With the with Amazon. Hold on, I'm gonna have to close a lot of these out. Let me close that. Here we go. With Amazon, now that we are like able to mix grants with building, let's say one item was not approved. This is going to be important. Let's say one particular item was not approved. Let's say we just ordered a couch or a bed. We know that's not going to be approved, but let's just say it's in there. And instead of us rejecting the entire cart, instead of me rejecting the entire cart, because again, they reach out to you before it comes to me at the end. Let's say someone reached out to you, said that the couch was not approved. All you have to do is go into, have your SDS request pulled up. You're gonna go to your Amazon request, order and changes, and I'm gonna choose one of the bigger ones just for an example, but again, at this hypothetically speaking, it would not be approved yet. But you would just view and edit. You would go to your item, click it, and delete, and then save and continue. By doing that, the numbers are gonna auto-generate and calculate. In Amazon though, there will be a point where you can go in there, and if you're familiar with Amazon, and like I'm always shopping for Amazon stuff in Amazon, go in there and look at your orders and, you know, delete the one item. You cannot change a quantity of 5 to 3. You cannot do that. You can delete an entire item. The 5, you know, pencil sharpeners you don't need, the couch, whatever it is. But it is as a sole item. It is not quantity modifications. By doing that, you'll be able to, make the changes without having to go through the whole expired add stuff back into the cart and going through that. Let me show you. So now I think here, we're just gonna add some quick items to the cart. And this is typically the process that you guys do to just adding anything. And then just proceed to checkout. And then we're gonna change the quantity of something. Proceed to checkout. You're leaving this blank because there is no PO number assigned yet. I will do that when I get it. And then, choose the location of where it's gonna be delivered to. Choose your shipping. It's going to be paid by invoice. Now, right here is the order summary. At this point is where I would recommend you guys printing this because it gives you all the information. It gives you everything you're ordering. It gives you the items, shipping. Now here, it's free shipping. So it's gonna apply that on there. Here, it would tell you if you would have any additional discounts. So it may be free shipping, but then you got another $5 off for whatever reason, Sharpie was having a sale, or because we're building a school district and, you're ordering all these products, the vendor is gonna give you a discount. All that is right here. So when I send out emails of like when the cards don't match, it's a similar view. It doesn't give you like the order numbers and everything all like this format, but it gives you everything. And this is important because a lot of times either shipping is a little off because they charge you $22, but maybe the discount for shipping is $20. So you'd still have to make sure your PO has the $2 being charged for that. And then we'll go ahead and continue. You submit order approval. This is when it comes to me. And then you're done because your cart shows 0 items. So then, like, let's say you did this and one of the items wasn't approved. Oh, here we go where it came to me. And then this is the view that I get. So I get the order summary and all the items. This is where I just go in here and save this as a PDF and send it to you like, hey, this doesn't match your Amazon request. And I ask you guys to go ahead and modify it. Now here, the item was not approved. You go into, your little drop down here. You're gonna go to your orders. And it shows your orders all here. You want to view and edit. Sometimes it may be in multiple sections because Amazon may ship 3 times for this one large order. So right here, it was easy because it was all being shipped in one. You're gonna go in here, check the item that wasn't approved. If you want to put your reason, you know, that one she chose not arrive on time, cancel the items. And then when she does this, the cart on my end is going to modify. And now it's 232 versus the 2, I believe, 70 something. And then I'm going to bring over my my site and show you that it should automatically calculate. And as you're doing this, you should also be, you know, making sure that your SDS request is matching. And now right here, it shows 232.42. And that would save a lot of time. If you'd rather me reject your entire cart, go back and modify that, that's fine too. However you want to do it, whatever works best for you. You know, again, just let me know and I'll go ahead and do it. This was one of the biggest things that that's going to be helpful and save time for next year. And I think that's it, ladies. I went over about 11 minutes. I do apologize for that. Do you guys have any questions?